happy Wisdom Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in and for choosing to spend some of your time with me. It's your girl, Milagros here, and during the month of August, whether you have been following along or not, no pressure either way, we are talking about change, and not just accepting change, but really embracing and participating with change. So last week's video, I just talked about the overall concept of simplifying change as not being this really difficult thing, but as a part of life. And not just a part of life, change is life. And because life is always changing, we're always changing, the people around us, the things, the jobs that we do, our interests, it's constantly changing and evolving. And so we have a tendency to look at it like it's a negative thing, but the reality is it's exciting and it's new and it's positive, and we just have to do the work to become aware when we view it as negative so that we can flip the script and begin to view it as more positive, which will then make our lives easier, more joyful, more peaceful, happier, super sparkly, everything. You know the drill. All right, so today in particular, I want to focus on the change that is personal growth and development, like the change that happens within me or within you. This is really great quote by Socrates where he says, the secret of change is to focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. And so we have a tendency to look at the past or look at the old or look at someone else's old patterns and go, oh, I want to change that. I want to fight it. I want to make it different. And then in doing that, we're just exerting a whole lot of energy that isn't, like 99% of the time, it isn't going to change them. So the only person that we can really change is us. So let me give you an example. Story time with Maria. So after my divorce, which was 10 years ago, my ex-husband and I had a really tumultuous relationship, and it didn't seem to be getting any easier over the years and over time. There were some things that did feel a little softer, but generally speaking, for such a long amount of time, we were still bumping heads. And so about 2 years ago, when I started this whole super sparkly everything journey, and I started this whole like loving yourself journey, and I started doing the work to fully love myself so that I wasn't expecting other people to do it for me, taking full responsibility for my life, when I was fully accepting my journey and then giving other people permission to have theirs and validating their feelings, when I started doing that work, the number one challenging relationship in my life at that time was, you guessed it, my ex-husband. And it wasn't like we could just get divorced and move on with our lives. We share this amazing, extraordinary daughter, so we had to figure out how to have conversations and how to get along, and it wasn't easy. So when I started this whole process of learning to love myself more and understanding my journey and other people's journey and the whole super sparkly everything venture, the one thing that I realized was I have to start looking at him with love and respect, if for nothing less than because he is the father of my daughter. And so I would love to say that I had the thought, and then miraculously I just started treating him super nice, and when he said something crazy, I didn't retort or retaliate. I just, no, that's okay. I would love to say that that was the case, but that wasn't the case. It did take some practice and it took some time, but it started with me making the decision that this was what I was going to do, and then allowing myself to become aware when I wasn't. So I was starting to really pay attention to how I was responding to our relationship and our dynamic. And then what started to happen over time was the more that I would kind of make this my mantra. Initially, when he would call, I would look at the phone and like, oh my God, I don't want to fight. And it became like that because I was trying to fight the old. And then I started to look at the phone, and when he would call, and I would say, oh, it's the father of my daughter. He must want to know how she's doing. He must want to share some exciting news. He must want to have a conversation. This is going to be fun. And I started really answering the phone like that. Like I would mentally prepare myself first, and then I would answer the phone. And so I would start the call in a different space. So before I would answer the call like, what? This, because I'm waiting for the fight, right? I'm fighting the old. This time I would answer the phone and I'm like, hello, happy Monday. And he'd go, who do you think this is? And I'm like, oh, I know who this is. And then at first he was kind of thrown by it. Now I answer the phone like that and I go, hi, happy Monday. Or I say, hey, and I, call him by his name or whatever. I hope you're having a great day. And he just kind of laughs and then he says, I am having a great day. How's your day? And I realized that again, the dynamics of our relationship could not change until I changed the way that I perceived him and the dynamics of our relationship. I had to really let go of all the past and the patterns, and I had to just trust that moving forward, I was going to treat him with love and respect, and that was going to reciprocate. That became my my goal. Like, I'm going to treat this man with so much love and respect, and he's going to have no choice but to reciprocate. And do you know what happened? He reciprocated. Now, we get on the phone, and when he calls, I answer the phone, and I'm like, what's up, son? How you doing, son? And he just kind of laughs, and we have a little conversation. We talk about our daughter a little bit. If he has a question or there's something going on, we kind of have those conversations. But it's so light. It's so easy. Even when it's something that's really that could be potentially frustrating or hard to have a conversation with, I don't back down from the conversation. I just remind myself I have to see in him the light and love that exists in me, because if it exists in me, it exists in everyone, even him. And if I want to be treated with respect and love, then everyone wants to be treated with respect and love, even him. And if I have days where I'm feeling kind of funky and I'm a little bit frustrated, everyone has the right to those days, even him. And I get to choose whether I'm going to react to that or whether I'm going to respond. Now, reaction is kind of impulsive and like, I'm going to come back at you. And responding is a little more intentional. Like, no, I'm going to just guess that you're having a bad day. And sometimes I would have to say to him, I'm guessing that you're having a bad day. I'm really sorry that you're having a bad day, but you won't talk to me like this. So, and then it just kind of eased the conversation. It set some really clear parameters. And we were able to, again, get to this place now where we have these great conversations. When we talk about our daughter, it's great. When we need to work something out, it's easy. And I, in my mind, was like, this is never going to be possible because he is. And I had to change, first and foremost, the way that I saw him in order to change the dynamics of our relationship. And then I had to change the way that I was responding to him. And if I'm walking around saying I respond from a place of love and gratitude, well, then I need to respond from a place of love and gratitude even to him, and especially to him, because I learned that if I can have that kind of conversation and that kind of dynamic with him, I can do that with anybody, right? Like, I can do that with anybody. So I just want to remind you that change, although it can be uncomfortable, it is necessary, because the greatest parts of our lives happen right outside of our comfort zones. And even though sometimes we go, you know, I shouldn't have to be the one to change. They should be the one to change. Yeah, you can say that all you want, but it's not going to change the situation. There's this great quote by Rohn, and he says, things don't get better by chance. They get better by change. And I believe that the change that really needs to happen first and foremost is the change that we have. If we have a job that is really frustrating, or we have a boss that's really frustrating, we could decide from here on out, every time I go into this job, I'm going to go into this job reminding myself that I prayed about this job, I asked for this job, I got this job, I wanted this job. This job challenges me, it pushes me, it's exciting, it's new, I'm going to do that. And then initially, like I said before, it's not going to feel like that. You're going to have to kind of fight against your old, not fight, you're going to have to release your old patterns rather, and move more towards the new. Make it your mantra, put it on a card, stick it on your desk, right? And the same thing if you're dealing with a difficult boss. That is still a human, that's still a person, and they're responding that way for a reason. Nobody continuously responds the same way unless there's a payoff. And if the payoff is to engage people and to encourage that, stop encouraging, stop engaging. Choose instead to look at them from a place of love and gratitude. Choose instead to see in them that they are also God's creature. Choose instead to look at them and say, the light and love in me sees the light and love in you. The light and love in me sees the light and love in you. Even if initially you don't really feel it 100%, you begin to practice it, become more aware when you drift away from it, when you're not doing it, and then eventually you'll pull yourself back faster and faster and faster until that becomes your new dynamic. You are really and truly operating from a place of love and gratitude. You are really and truly treating others as if they are, because they are, the light and love of the planet. And when you do, and you do that consistently, they have no choice but to match you. And then, super sparkly everything. So, the only person responsible for every area of your life is you. And whether or not, you decide that you're going to make those changes or not is up to you. And then whether or not your life changes is up to you. It's all up to you. And it's a beautiful, wonderful gift because you get to choose and you get to decide where you're going to make those changes. So that's what I have for you today. And I hope that you're able to have some conversations with yourself and think about, what stories do I need to change that I'm telling myself about my relationships, about my job, about my life? What stories, what thoughts do I need to stop fighting against and instead just kind of release and focus all of my energy on the new thoughts? Where am I going in my life, and how can I create positive change that will make every area of my life better? Because again, it's up to you. So I love you so much, because the light and love in me sees and honors the light and love in you. I hope that you have a fantastic rest of your week and a super sparkly weekend. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you know someone who can benefit from it, please subscribe. Please share it, and please subscribe. Subscribe. Yeah, because then you'll get one of these in your inbox every week. And that is all I have. Change, change, change. Change is good. That's not the song, but I can change the lyrics if I want, because I'm the one making the video.